At Global Escapes, we know that constantly changing travel rules and restrictions can be frustrating and overwhelming. We provide stress-free travel planning based on the latest information worldwide. Having a vacation date on your calendar will bring back optimism and hope. I know you may not be ready to plan a vacation right now, and that's okay. We will be here for you when you are ready. But many of you listening today are already clients of Global Escapes, or if you're tuning in and you don't currently work with us, reach out and schedule a free consultation with one of our advisors. They are extremely knowledgeable and well connected with travel partners around the globe. They will take away all of the stress and work that comes with planning amazing experiences. With the global pause, what we know is that once this subsides, travel is going to be in high demand, and there's a good possibility that capacity in some areas is going to be limited. So it's going to be important for you to have an established relationship with a trusted advisor so that when you're ready to go and things do begin to open up, you can move quickly. We always want to make sure that we get our clients the best prices, the best availability, best of everything that they're looking for. A couple of quick housekeeping notes. We know your time is valuable. We're going to do our best to keep this session to around 20 minutes or less. All attendees are muted in listen-only mode. If you have questions, please use the chat feature. We will answer as we go along, and you can also reach out to us directly to schedule some time to talk with one of our advisors if you have any specific questions. So today we're excited to be chatting with Tracy Aldridge with Uniworld River Cruise and Luxury Gold Collection. Tracy was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, or in the area. We are excited to be talking to a fellow Southerner today. He started in the travel industry in 1991 as a tour director for a small family-owned tour and bus company, and then came to the Travel Corporation in 2017 as a sales manager for Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold, and was asked to become part of the Travel Corporation Velvet Collection in 2020. Now he represents Insight Vacations, Luxury Gold, Uniworld River Cruises, African Travel, and Red Carnation Hotels. Wow, Tracy, that's a lot.
Yeah, hands are full.
Today, we are going to focus on just two of these brands mentioned, Uniworld River Cruise and Luxury Gold. And so, hey, Tracy, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Hey, Tiffany, thank you so much for the opportunity. And hi, y'all, since we're all in the South here. I really appreciate the Southern hospitality, and thanks for the warm welcome.
Well, you know, with this pandemic, we've all been kind of forced to embrace technology in ways we had not imagined, and we're definitely taking it in stride. You know, it is nice though. It is nice for people to be able to stay connected in this way and at least see each other's faces and kind of hear about what's been going on and in different parts of the world. So tell me a little bit about, you know, the broad view right now. What's been going on with the Travel Corporation, with the team of companies over this last 12 months?
Well, it's been a busy, challenging, interesting, unique, unprecedented 12 months, shall we say, for everyone, in the travel industry. I know it's been a challenge for our partners on the agency side, especially too. And we just want to first say thank you to you as a tremendous partner with us. About 96% of our sales actually come directly from travel advisors and companies like you. So we would not exist if it weren't for you. And I think this past year has really taught the consumer a very important lesson as well. You never know when a pandemic's going to pop up.
That's right.
Right. So work with a travel professional. I always like to use the phrase, the internet's great for looking, but go see a travel professional for booking, right? So we definitely appreciate that relationship. And I think it's more important than ever to work with a qualified travel professional like the good folks there with Global Escapes. And so we really appreciate this relationship. Now, yes, things have changed with the Travel Corp. We are still we're a family-run company. The Tolman family actually owns all of the Travel Corporation. There's about 40 brands, and I only have 5 or 6 of them, so I've got a small piece.
Wow.
Yeah, but fortunately, back in the summer of last year, we did consolidate some of our representation, if you will. I had just the guided vacation brands for about 4 years, Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold, Insight being a premium product and Luxury Gold being that luxury product. And been able to, quickly adopt the Uniworld brand into this. Of course, Uniworld is an amazing one of a kind river cruise experience. So we'll talk more about that. Red Carnation Hotels is a fantastic, that's really the genesis of the travel corporation. The Tolman family, the father of our current chairman, if you will, Stanley Tolman, his father bought a small hotel in South Africa in 1920. So we are 100 years old now. So the hotel industry is really where this whole got started. But African travel, of course, since the family is based in South Africa, we're very well versed in doing African travel as well. So anyway, just exciting times, challenging times, interesting times, and we're excited about the future because we feel like as things start to open up, optimism is coming along now. People feel better about the vaccine and about the future. We're looking forward to a very busy third and fourth quarter, and then of course 22 and 23 will be 80 bar the door, right?
Right, right. Well, I think so. And I think one of the things I've mentioned over the last few months is I think all of us in the hospitality, travel and hospitality industry, it's been a little bit of a rude awakening to some extent, but it's a reminder of how we do take some things for granted. I think, people are going to be so excited to see the destinations and the people in these destinations. And we experienced this. My husband and I were able to travel back in January, and the people that we saw were just, welcoming with open arms. They were so excited to see us, and I think that's going to kind of be the sentiment around the world, don't you?
I think so too. I was in Paris a couple of years ago, and I was there early in the season. I was there in March, and the reputation that Paris has is that it can be rude to Americans, and of course,
Right.
Americans are rude. But they were very friendly. But I got a feeling that the Parisians and all the other popular tourist destinations are going to open their arms and say, "Yes, we want you back, please. We're so glad you're here."
Right.
Because they depend. We just don't understand how much the global economy depends on people traveling and enjoying the beautiful destinations all around the world.
Right. No, I agree. I agree. I think it's going to be a busy time over the next couple of years. So, it's really kind of the point of us doing these webinars. We just want to kind of keep people up to date with what's going on with some of the preferred partners that we work with. And, I will just mention the reason that we do have at Global Escapes preferred partners, because we want to align ourselves with companies that kind of share a similar business philosophy. And it is a passion for travel, a passion for sharing these experiences with people around the world. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We just want to make sure that we can educate people, give them the best options, and that once they arrive in that destination, whatever partner that we're working with, that they're going to be really well taken care of. Because what we always say at Global Escapes is, you can make more money, but when that week or two of your vacation is gone, it is gone forever. So we hate to hear stories about fumbled vacations and things that weren't well thought through. So that's really what we strive to do. So, all right, well, tell me a little bit about, first of all, with Uniworld. Let's talk about the river cruises. Like what are things kind of looking like right now? And tell us kind of what's going on there.
Well, right now we're much like other industries. We're sort of in that holding pattern. We're waiting to see what final guidelines will be from the World Health Organization, from the CDC, and even within the countries that we will be traveling to. Of course, our most popular area for river cruising is through Europe and the wonderful rivers there. We are still actually operating our May and June departures. And we feel like there's a good possibility that they will go. We're still open for bookings for that. We don't have a lot of last minute bookings, but those are still available. The confidence level at this point, we just can't say for sure. We're going to have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen. Capacities are not going to be full capacity. That again will be determined a lot by the CDC and from the WHO and that kind of thing. But our ships typically are smaller passenger numbers anyway. We only average about 130. on our ships, where a lot of our competitors are a little bit more than that, and that's fine. We have a lot more suites and things like that, which actually create more social distancing, which is a good thing. So those capacity numbers will be determined, but we'll definitely follow the protocols given to us by the countries we're in, and also by the World Health and the CDC here in the U.S.
So that's interesting that you said that, because that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about today was the capacity. I assume that it will be limited. Any idea of some of the ports that the river cruises stop in, and any conversations about what those experiences look like as and by the way, for those of you who have not experienced a river cruise, it is truly one of the most amazing ways to travel through Europe and other parts of the world, especially being on these ships that are much smaller, that are, or I should say not smaller, the ship size, but the limited capacity that they already had before COVID. And it really gives you such a personal experience with the destination. So what are you kind of hearing from some of the ports? Are they?
Well, the Douro River Valley, I understand, is very aggressive about wanting to get started as soon as possible, and that's where some of our May and June departures are planned to go. So they are pushing their government and their local authorities to make this happen sooner rather than later. So there are certain destinations that are eager and ready to get guests back on the rivers and in their shops. And every destination, of course, is taking all the proper protocols. We're working very closely with our suppliers. And the good thing is that we're an international company. We actually have offices in Geneva. We have offices in Africa. We have offices all over Europe. So there's people on the ground working directly with those destinations, with our excursion providers, to make sure that everything is going to meet the proper protocols, that there's social distancing, that there's hand sanitizers, that there's masks, or whatever might need to be available. So those are all considerations we're way ahead of and have been working on since really last fall. Once we kind of saw that, even once things open up, people are going to want a different level of security when they travel. And if some folks want to be extra cautious about masks and about gloves and even about sanitizer, we will make sure that's available to them. We're not going to force anyone to our standard. We're going to at least follow the local standards and give even more protection if necessary.
Well,
we're using a product called Pure Purity on our ships itself, which is a sanitizing spray that's actually good for almost a year, and it covers all the surfaces. And we've already started, actually probably completed applying that to all of our ships in Europe right now.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Yeah, I know it's amazing how many new products and things are being developed during this time to kind of assist with this. And, those are the good things that are going to, stay around once we kind of get on the other side of this pandemic and get things more under control. So I think there is going to be more good than bad that comes from all of this. Well, I think you may have the ability to share your screen. I think you have a few slides. I'd love to see some pictures of some of these river vessels and let you kind of share some of that.
All right, good. Can you see the beautiful river cruise picture we have up here now? Looks like we can. Yeah, just to share, for those folks who might not be familiar with Uniworld, we've been around for a little while, part of the Travel Corporation. And what we sort of do is pride ourselves on one-of-a-kind award-winning ships. You won't see anything that's cookie cutter. Each ship is really decorated and designed based on the destination that you're traveling to and through. Our genesis is really, like as I mentioned earlier, the Red Carnation Hotel boutique hotel brand. And that same feel of a floating boutique hotel is what you'll experience on board a Uniworld River Cruise. You can see here there's 3 different types of decor, and no 2 suites are exactly alike, even on the same ship. So as you walk through the ship, you'll see, oh wow, that one's pretty, and that one's, it's just really and you may actually be sleeping right beside an original Picasso. There's well over $2 million worth of original art on each one of those ships. It is really totally all-inclusive. If you have a particular type of premium spirit or wine that you enjoy, it will be available for you. If you are booking one of the suites and you let us know in advance that you would like to have a particular type of spirit or wine in your suite, that will be available to you when you arrive. We will make everything tailored to your taste. If we know those tastes prior to arriving, of course, your Wi-Fi, your gratuities, all those things are included. We even included a couple of excursions each day, depending on where you might happen to be. Those are very carefully curated. We also offer VIP private experiences off the ship if you'd like to do something, just a small intimate experience too, that you can book as well while you're traveling with us. Culinary, of course, oh, I went a little fast. Culinary is a huge part of what we do. And there again, it ties into the destination where we might be traveling through. So we definitely even have sometimes an opportunity for you to go with the chef into the small town or village that you're docked in that day to purchase some of the food items for that night, which I think is kind of cool. You get to see, you know, how your food is actually created from beginning to end. Outstanding service, and that's really what people talk about when they talk about an experience, not only with Uniworld, but with Luxury Gold, with all of our vacation brands, is that the people make the difference. And it's just like what you mentioned earlier, Tiffany, it's really making that connection with your travel advisor, with your guests. But we try to do that too with our guests. We little tiny noticeable touches, we might call it. If you had a particular drink at the bar your first night of the cruise, when you come back to that bar the next night, the bartender will remember that and say, hey, Miss Tiffany, would you like that, you know, Manhattan or whatever it might be, you know. So that's really what we like to pride ourselves on, is those really tiny noticeable touches. No request too big, no detail too small. Anything that you need, we are happy to try to provide. And as I mentioned, these suites are incredible. The butler service, the Asprey body bath products. I don't know if you've ever tried those or not, but I understand they are incredible. You know, little personal touches are what we really pride ourselves on. Popular places, of course, all throughout Europe. But I want to touch on, if you don't mind me sharing real quickly,
Sure.
Later this year and into 2022, we have been getting requests for the last few years about possibly tying in river cruises with rail itineraries throughout Europe and even into Russia. So do you mind if I kind of mention those for a second?
Yes, please share.
Yeah, we're excited about starting later this year and in 2022 as well, Milan, Venice, and the Swiss Alps. So it's a 14-day journey, of course, which will include our wonderful experience on the Labyrinth there in Venice, but we'll also take the Golden Eagle Danube Express. If you've ever heard of the Golden Eagle rail line, it is the most luxurious rail experience across Europe. This is just some of the highlights of this particular journey. Beautiful little 11-day trip there. If you want to go to Turkey, you know, some people might be a little nervous about traveling to Turkey. It is, you know, an Islamic country, and there has been some turbulence there in the past. Well, a great way to do it is on the Golden Eagle Danube Express here as well. Also tying that into our wonderful experiences in Venice. Oops, a little quick there, but there's just a couple of the highlights too. This one also includes Croatia, Zagreb and Sarajevo, and even into Belgrade, and just a wonderful part of the world. I was actually in Croatia a couple of years ago. The people are so gracious and kind and so happy to see tourists. And, you know, after this past year, they're going to be even more excited for that. We also have the Castles of Transylvania. If you're a Dracula fan, if you have, you know, a little bit of a mystery about the original Dracula myth, we actually include this one on our wonderful trips in 2022. My little mouse is going quick today, but just a few highlights of this one. This is a little shorter journey. It's just 4 nights on the Golden Eagle and 7 nights on the SS Maria Theresa. And just a couple quick other ones here for you on the Trans-Siberian Express. If you've ever wanted to see Russia from a completely unique experience, this one starts in Moscow and ends all the way over at the Pacific Ocean at Vladivostok. It is, and you even go into Mongolia. So 15 days, luxury to say the least. An amazing, amazing trip. You've got Kazan here. There's countries I've even been to Russia a couple of times, and there's some places I've never heard of. So the Republic of Buryatia, I can't even say that. So if you want to come back and brag to your friends about who's been to the most exotic parts of the world, this might be one to check out as well. So that's just a quick touch on what's happening with Uniworld. I know we don't have a lot of time. Got some great deals happening right now too. Some early bookings. You can save up to 12% if you look here in the next month or two with for 2022. And as you mentioned earlier, it's going to be a very busy year, we believe. And if you have any solo travelers, we have waived the single supplement on a lot of our departures too. We're really happy to have solo travelers, and they enjoy the style of Uniworld because it's just like a family once you're on it. Those
Right.
staff members just kind of take you in and take care of you if that's what you like. So that's just a few of the highlights. Any questions about that?
No, they look amazing. I love the idea of combining the river cruise with the rail. That's exciting. That's very exciting. And, and I'm glad that you mentioned that about some of the specials. So, we understand some folks may not be ready to travel just yet. But if you're interested in planning for 22 and 23, we encourage you to do so, because there are some deals right now. And we know that once things reopen, I personally think a lot of those deals will go away. The demand is going to be really high. And so it is a good time right now over the next 3 or 4 months to try and get some plans in place. So
you're right. And I just want to warn consumers as well. There are a lot of unknowns in the future as far as what the protocols are going to be. So travel companies are offering some deals, but also understanding that there will be some price increases in 22 and 23, just because we're not really sure what hotel rates are going to be, what extra expenses they have to go through to make sure that the property is sanitized, and a lot of different unknowns out there. So the sooner you can sort of lock in some deals for next year, I would recommend doing that, because I think you're right. Probably later this year, those will start going away and the price increases may start coming through.
Yeah. No, these look great. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about Luxury Gold. Tell us a little bit about what is Luxury Gold? What does this mean?
Well, just to kind of give folks an idea of sort of where this came from, the Travel Corporation has had what I call a contemporary guided vacation brand since the 1940s, and that being Trafalgar. And people know Trafalgar. It's a great product. It's really what I used to do as well as a travel director. It's that quintessential escorted trip. Now, Trafalgar does a fabulous job, but it tends to be a larger size of a group, in the 40s or 50 sometimes passengers. And they use wonderful hotels, typically the 3 to 4 star. About 6 or 7 years ago, though, the Tolman family said, we need to elevate our guided vacation experiences to match somewhat of that Uniworld and Red Carnation experience that we have. And folks thought, can you do that with a guided vacation? And yes, you can. Luxury Gold was born out of that. And what it basically does is it takes the same, there are certain places you can't get to on a river cruise. We just have to admit that. One of my favorite places in the world is Krakow, Poland. Have you been to Krakow?
I have not.
Yeah, it's a beautiful town, but you can't get there on a river cruise. Sometimes there might be a day trip from Budapest or something like that. But it is a beautiful town that you really need to spend 2 or 3 days there to experience. And so these guided vacations are really taking that Uniworld and Red Carnation experience off the boat and away from the hotel and putting it in a guided experience. And we really think moving forward with the concerns of not knowing what the protocols and things might be in different places, this type of experience is exactly what folks who've never done a guided trip in the past might be interested in doing. So Luxury Gold really is that next level. We've introduced something I think we're the only guided vacation company doing this now. We have 2 staff members traveling with our small groups of 20 to 24 guests, and one is a well-being director. And all this person does is takes care of your well-being. They're not telling you about the sites or attractions and things like that. They're moving ahead of you and making sure the hotel and the restaurant and the attractions are ready for you and that there's no large crowds. And it's just really a smart way of dealing with things under the current situation. So some of the tasks and duties are making sure that, you're not getting too close to other people or the dining situation is exactly right. So, these seem like small, simple things, but there are a lot of things you can do to reassure folks that they are not going to be exposed to COVID or anything else when they travel. So we feel like this may be something that sticks with us in the future. Now, this is just on that motor coach itself. These are the things that they do every day. So I don't know if I want to be a well-being director or not, because they're going to be busy, busy people. But talking about Luxury Gold, let's just kind of really get into what that's about. We use these things called VIP experiences, and they're really unique things that you can't do as an FIT traveler. You really can't book this. You have a wonderful staff there, but they can't find all the little things there are to see and do in certain places. Like Schönbrunn Palace down here in the bottom right corner you've ever been there in Austria and Vienna, it's a beautiful palace, of course, but it's very, very busy, much like Versailles. But we go after hours. No one else is there but us. And so that's something you can only arrange through someone like Luxury Gold. Ashford Castle, part of our Red Carnation brand, of course. Our guests get special treatment because they're part of the family there. This is an incredible place. I could live there. I got to visit August a year and a half ago. Fantastic. It was first part of the castle was built in 1228. It was owned by the Guinness family. It is truly a castle experience, and it is elegant and luxurious. Each suite, each room is decorated differently from the other. You're not going to be in any type of cookie cutter experience there at Ashford Castle, and that's part of our ultimate Ireland experience. Other places, other things we do, of course, in dining, Michelin star. Now, I have to admit, when I first came to work for this company, I thought Michelin was just about tires. Do a little research on the Michelin Guide and how it evolved in Europe. And if you are a Michelin star restaurant now, you are the best of the best. And I think almost all, there might be one or two itineraries in Europe of our Luxury Gold trips that don't have a Michelin star experience, but almost all of them will have at least one Michelin star dining experience. On the island of Capri, of course, there in Italy, we eat at Mama, and it is an amazing view, an amazing experience. One time, though, our group had a little bit of a problem getting into their space because this guy named Leonardo DiCaprio had part of the restaurant rented out. I mean, who does he think he is? Doesn't he understand that we have reservations? So dining is truly elevated with Luxury Gold. And in small groups. Now, in the past, we've had some of our journeys have more than 24 to 28 guests, but I am so happy to announce starting in 2022, 24 or less will be all luxury, the maximum you're going to have on our Luxury Gold experience. So we're very excited about that. Let me point out this bottom right-hand corner picture here. Egypt is a hot destination. It's hot for two reasons. Obviously, it's a warm place to visit, but I love Egypt. If you're a fan of ancient history, you can do it with Uniworld. You can do a beautiful cruise on the SS Sphinx, which is a brand new ship, by the way. And you can do it with Luxury Gold. Either way you want to do it, check out Egypt. It is fabulous. And I'll be honest with you, the continent of Africa has been very open to tourists. You may have been sending some folks there. I think you can still travel to Egypt right now. So check that out. We feel like that's going to be an even faster emerging destination. Another part of the world is South America. And we do a lot down to Peru, Argentina, Chile, and of course, Brazil. So, and there again, that well-being director is traveling with our group. So you have two folks traveling with you, making sure all your details. And the traveling, I want to say this, traveling concierge, this is different than a travel director. My quick story about this, and I know we're running out of time, Tiffany, because I could talk forever about this. I was in Peru a couple of years ago, took my wife, we did our Luxury Gold trip down there. Our travel director was named Roberto. And as we arrived, actually our traveling concierge was named Roberto. As we arrived the first day in Lima, he pulls us aside, and he does this to every couple. He says, what 2 or 3 things can I do to make this a special, special trip for you? Not with the group, just for you. We didn't want to be greedy. I said, just one thing. We want to buy a ring for our daughter, a silver ring. She's graduating college. So we're finishing up this trip. It's 7 or 8, 9 days. We're in Cusco the night before we fly back to Lima, and we thought he'd forgotten. And here's the great thing. As we finish up dinner, it's 8 or 9 o'clock. Everything's closing in Cusco about that time. He says, are y'all ready to get your ring? And I said, Roberto, it's too late. The shops are closed. He says, did I say we're going to a shop? I said, what do you mean? He took us to a silversmith.
Wow.
His personal friend who made the ring for us. And this guy at this home had pictures of the guy in front of us with Cameron Diaz, Olivia Newton-John, all these American celebrities. And I'm thinking,
Cool.
I can't afford the ring, but it was only $200. It was great.
That's excellent. What a great story. Yeah.
That I could go on for days, Tiffany. I know our time is limited. We got some great stuff out west this summer or late this year. If you want to go out and see the ranches and resorts of Colorado and New Mexico, Luxury Gold spending 3 nights at the Bermejo Park Ranch, which is Ted Turner's beautiful natural reserve in northern New Mexico. So I'll end there. What questions do we have? I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. If that's good. Do we have some questions that we need to look at?
I don't
don't know that we have any questions, but I will just say, I know a lot of people are asking about US right now. And so I'm glad that you kind of ended on that note. There are a lot of options within the US. And over the years, we've always tried to encourage our travelers to go far away first, because we feel like the North American continent is the one that is going to be the easiest to see, as you get older. It's not as strenuous on you to travel, the longer, the flights aren't quite as long and that sort of thing. But obviously, with the pandemic, it's kind of reversed things. I mean, what we want to do is we want to make sure that people are continuing to get out there and experience. And look, not only that, I mean, people are missing out on these honeymoons and these milestone birthday celebrations, anniversary trips, and things like that. So there are places, like you mentioned, Africa, there are places that you can go to. And, we want to just reassure everybody that if you're ready to go, we can help you through that. We can help you with the rules and regulations in the destination, as far as the same goes for what's required to come back into the US. So I would encourage anybody listening in today to please reach out to us and let us know. I really appreciate you taking the time today to kind of update us, and we will definitely, we stay in touch with you a lot, but we will definitely get with you again here soon to talk about some of the other companies that you represent and what things look like there. And during those sessions, we can certainly talk about updates with Luxury Gold and river cruises as well.
Sure.
So for all of you guys listening in today, we will be back next week, March 4th. We're going to be talking with Scott Jordan from Delta Airlines. Delta has really set the bar high for the airline industry during the pandemic, and I personally believe it's going to serve them well in the years to come. I think, again, Tracy, like all of the travel corporation brands, I mean, the companies right now that are thinking about how they can position themselves, how they can be the best in the industry for the long term, those are the companies that are really going to not only just survive, but thrive. So it's a pleasure to partner with you guys. We appreciate all that you do to take care of our guests when we put them in your good hands. So yeah, thanks for joining me today. And if anyone has any questions about anything that you heard today, you're interested in scheduling a meeting with one of our advisors, I again encourage you to schedule that very, very soon. We are anticipating the third and fourth quarter of this year getting really busy for us. And to keep up to date on the events, the future events that we have scheduled, please check out our website, globalescapes.com/events. And you can also follow us with your social media, favorite social media channel, to keep up to date with what's going on, not only with Global Escapes, with our partners like Tracy and the Travel Corporation around the world. So just remember, having a vacation date on your calendar will bring back optimism and hope. So think of Global Escapes as your trusted resource in this journey back to exploring the world. We appreciate everybody taking the time to tune in today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again, Tracy. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.